the matchup for you guys, obviously the focus is Texas Tech, but I know this one maybe has a little more meaning for you. Just one of your mentors on the other sideline. How exciting is it for you to go against Coach Kitley?
Yeah, Coach Kitley's an important person to me. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be in college football coaching. I wouldn't be at Washington State. He took care of me as a young coach and just made it possible for me to be in this profession. So always grateful for him, and he's my best friend and really, really good human being and everything. But as far as everything else goes, I mean, our motto around here is always us, never them, right? I mean, this is another opponent that we get the opportunity to go play, okay? So if I look at it any different or try and throw any emotion to it, I'm not doing this team or these coaches or this fan base any justice. It's a nameless, faceless opponent, and we're just going to go out there and try and do our job and execute.
Coming off the highest output at the school since 1997, it just seemed like you guys were clicking on all cylinders. How do you kind of carry that into this week, running a lot of what the same way you did, but also making the necessary tinkers so the Texas Tech doesn't just have the automatic tape?
Yeah. Again, it's a two-part series, really. I mean, getting together with the coaching staff, formulating the best game plan we can to put these guys in position to be successful, right? And then once that happens, giving these kids the tools to go execute and do their job. Ultimately, that's it. We like what we've come up with, but at the end of the day, I mean, we just have to go execute, do our job, and then let everything else handle itself.
As an offensive coordinator, how much does it kind of unlock what you're able to do when you have a performance like you had from the offensive line on Saturday, where John can basically sit back there, read a book, and then deliver his throws when needed?
Yeah. One, it's a testament to those kids and, Coach Castro, the work that they've put in over the last 9.5, 10 months, just their willingness and want to get better and be a solid front for us and everything. And so, but from a play caller standpoint, it makes you a little bit more comfortable. You hand the ball off and run and get positive yardage, be efficient with it and everything. But at the end of the day, it's just I feel like a broken record. It's just those guys IDing, executing, doing their job.
Have you ever faced an offense that has as many similarities as Tech has to your offense?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot of different systems in the country, those spread kind of hybrid air raid systems around the country that do a lot of similar things. In college football, really a lot of people do a lot of the same things. It's just a matter of how you coach the fine details and everything with it. But there's definitely similarities and everything, just naturally with it. But I don't know. I mean, probably not.
Is that like an advantage for you guys in any way, just kind of being familiar with what you might see on offense? Or I don't know if that's the way you see it at all.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd call it an advantage per se or anything like that. It just comes down to, one, we do our job, and our defense gets to go against us every single day in spring ball and fall camp. So what similarities there are, sure, it's something maybe they've seen a bunch of different times. They'll dress stuff up in different ways and everything, but potentially maybe some familiarity. So maybe.
With Coach Kitley, what are the biggest things that he kind of imparted with you, and how does that kind of apply to your life now?
Yeah, the biggest things that Coach Kitley taught me, really weren't even football. He taught me a lot of ball and everything, but he just taught me probably the biggest thing in the building is have a personal relationship with everyone in the building, right? Let everyone know that you care about them. Okay, and in return, show them the respect they deserve, and they'll respect you back. And so that's probably the biggest thing he taught me as a young coach, just in the building and just outside of the building. Just be a good human in everything you do. Just be a good human, respect, have a great sense of humor with people, be personable with people, and just treat them the right way.
Coach Dickert talked a lot about how you have kind of developed from year one to year two as a leader, and a lot of you guys have talked about maybe the development of the offense. How have you felt like your offense has developed, but also yourself from year one kind of going into this year?
Yeah, after the season, we have exit meetings with the players, right? Coach Dickert has exit meeting with the players. I have exit meetings with the players, and it's all, hey, this is what you do well, okay? Hey, this is where I think you could get better. And here's the thing about it, us position coaches, we're Coach Dickert's position group, okay? And so he has exit meetings with us, and he challenged me with a few things, and I'm so grateful that he did. You know, I think the biggest thing that he taught me, that he challenged me with, that I've worked really, really hard to kind of put into my own persona and spread out to everyone, is just communication, right? Communication. There's a quote in a book that I read, where communication lacks, negativity fills the void. And it goes with everything, right? It goes with my family, my son. It goes with me to these players, me to the other coaches, right? So I think communication is something that I've grown a lot with, just as far as the fine details of everything. And so I'd say that's probably the biggest way that I've grown, is just how I communicate with the players and with the coaches and get the message out. But as far as how the offense is developed, it's a ever evolving thing, right? If you're staying static with your offense, if you're just doing the same thing over and over again, I believe you're falling behind. And so, that goes into a lot of study in the offseason of other teams that, frankly, guys that do really cool stuff, but also stuff that matches your personnel and matches, kind of where you see your vision of your unit going. And so, it's always changing, and then, throw in a new quarterback with that and some new humans in the skill position. You really got to try and figure out their strengths, their weaknesses, where can I put them in position to be successful. That's really where the evolution comes, is just finding those ways to make sure that these kids are successful.
And then obviously you love the 50-plus yard touchdowns and explosives, but I'm wondering if this week against Texas Tech you're kind of expecting or maybe hoping for longer sustained drives, or trying to run up more of the time of possession at all offensively.
Yeah, I mean, quick hitter touchdowns are cool, but absolutely. These guys are a well-coached defense. Coach DeRuiter does an unbelievable job, and so they're going to poise every challenge that they're going to give us every challenge, that one that we need and one that we need to respond to. And so I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing a little bit more sustained drives. When adversity hits, how do we respond, right? Just ultimately controlling what we control, because the guys that we're about to play are going to be really, really well coached. And so just execute and do our job and control what you can control.